He is a 6-time major champion. He has just become only the 4th golfer in history to win back-to-back Masters titles, joining Jack Nicklaus, Nick Faldo, and Tiger Woods. By every conventional measure, Rory McIlroy has never been more complete. But that is not the most remarkable thing about what just happened at Augusta. The most remarkable thing is what he had to survive to get there. Because this is not a story about a great player winning. It's a story about a great player breaking. This is not golf's greatest comeback. It's something rarer. Most people remember April 10th, 2011. If you don't, here is what happened. A 21-year-old from Northern Ireland arrived at Augusta National as the 54-hole leader. After rounds of 65, 69, and 70, McIlroy led the field by 4 shots heading into Sunday's final round. He was the most exciting young player in the world. The green jacket felt inevitable. He shot an 80. His back 9 included a triple bogey and double bogey, erasing his lead entirely. He finished tied for 15th, 10 strokes off the lead. Charles Schwartzel won. And Rory McIlroy walked off Augusta National, not as a major champion, but as the latest cautionary tale about what that course does to young men who think they're ready. In the post-round interview, McIlroy said he had tried to be ultra-focused, tunnel-visioned, which just isn't like me. He said it would be hard to take for a few days. It would be harder than that. What followed was not a career in free fall. It was something more complicated and, ultimately, more interesting. McIlroy won 4 majors between 2011 and 2014. The 2011 US Open, the 2012 PGA Championship, the 2014 Open Championship, the 2014 PGA Championship again. At the 2011 US Open, his 8-stroke victory over Jason Day was one of the most dominant performances in the modern history of that championship. By every measure, he was one of the greatest players of his generation. By the only measure that seemed to define him publicly, he was incomplete. Augusta still had the account, and for a decade, it collected. Here is what a decade without a major actually looks like. It is not silence. It is not absence. It is the accumulation of near misses, each one adding a new layer to the story the world was already telling about you. Augusta. McIlroy started the final round 10 shots back, surged with a final round 64, and finished runner-up, too far back to truly contend. A slow start in 2022 had meant McIlroy began Sunday's deciding round 10 shots adrift of the American, who teed off for his final hole with a 5-shot lead. Then 2024, Pinehurst, the US Open, the one that hurt the most. McIlroy had a 2-stroke lead with 5 holes to play. He carded bogeys on 3 of the last 4 holes, missing short putts on 16 and 18 after being nearly automatic from inside 3 feet all season. Bryson DeChambeau won. McIlroy left the building without speaking to the press. He posted a statement saying he needed a few weeks off to process everything and build myself back up. That is the language of a man carrying something heavy. By the time Augusta 2025 arrived, McIlroy had accumulated more than 20 top 10 finishes in majors without a win since 2014. More than 20 times close enough to touch it. Not once close enough to take it. The question the game was quietly asking was no longer whether Rory McIlroy was great. Everyone knew he was great. The question was whether Augusta would ever give him what it owed him. April 13th, 2025, the 89th Masters Tournament. McIlroy held a 2-stroke lead after 54 holes, his first 54-hole outright lead at a major since the 2014 PGA Championship. A decade since he had been in this position with a realistic chance. He shot a final round 73. Justin Rose birdied 6 of his final 8 holes to force a playoff. The playoff, 1 hole, everything. McIlroy birdied the first playoff hole to win the 89th Masters Tournament. In doing so, he became the 6th player and the first European to complete the modern career Grand Slam. After the win, McIlroy said, "It's my 17th time here. and I started to wonder if it would ever be my time. 17 starts at Augusta National, 1 green jacket, and the career Grand Slam, the thing that had defined and haunted him for a decade, finally his. Most players would have called that the summit. Climbed the mountain, planted the flag, come home. McIlroy didn't come home. Here is where the story stops being about redemption and starts being about something rarer. After winning the Masters, McIlroy stated he had lost motivation. I climbed my Everest in April, and I think after you do something like that, there's a period where you feel a little lost. He tied for 47th at the PGA Championship. He missed his first cut of the year at the Canadian Open. He finished tied for 19th at the US Open. The world watched and waited for the hangover to pass. Then Augusta came around again. McIlroy built a commanding lead early in the week, only to see it slip away over the weekend, turning the tournament into a back nine battle on Sunday. Multiple challengers surged ahead before McIlroy steadied himself. A birdie on 12 was followed by a committed swing from the pine straw on 13, going for the green in 2 and making birdie. McIlroy said afterward, "To make a birdie there following the birdie on 12, that was massive." He closed it out by a single stroke. Rory McIlroy became the 4th golfer in Masters history to win back-to-back green jackets, joining Jack Nicklaus, Nick Faldo, and Tiger Woods. The first back-to-back Masters champion since Tiger Woods in 2001 to 2002. 6 majors, 2 consecutive green jackets, a career Grand Slam, and a championship that nearly got away from him, reclaimed on the back nine on a Sunday afternoon at Augusta, as McIlroy told reporters after the round, per ESPN. "I don't make it easy." Here is the part that makes this more than a highlight reel. Rory McIlroy did not become great in 2025. He was always great. What changed? What the last 2 Aprils have actually revealed is something more subtle and more durable than talent. He spent more than a decade at Augusta, being defined by 2 words: the collapse, the drought, the missed putts at Pinehurst, the more than 20 top 10 major finishes without a win. He was the most talented player who couldn't win the one thing he most wanted. And then, back-to-back, in consecutive Aprils, he won it twice. In 2026, either he'd join the elite group of back-to-back Masters champions or become the record setter for the largest 36-hole lead surrendered in tournament history. That was the binary he faced. He chose the right side of it. The question the game was asking about McIlroy for a decade wasn't whether he had the talent. It was whether he had the architecture to handle the weight of Augusta. Whether, when the tournament was in the balance on the back nine on Sunday, he was the kind of player who could still make the swing. The last 2 years answered that question. So what does the Rory McIlroy story actually mean? Not the version where a great player finally wins the last major on his list. That story, while true, is incomplete. He became the 6th player in history, the first European, to complete the career Grand Slam. Then, 12 months later, when the burden of expectation was gone and the question was whether he had anything left to prove, he came back to Augusta and did it again. That is not a redemption arc. That is a player who learned, over a decade and more than 20 top 10 finishes and missed putts on Sunday afternoons, what it actually takes to win at Augusta National. The 2011 collapse didn't define Rory McIlroy. It educated him. The 2024 Pinehurst misses didn't break him. They clarified him. And Augusta, 2025 and 2026 didn't just give him 2 green jackets. They confirmed what the scoreboard had been trying to tell us for years, that the most interesting thing about the best players in the world is never how they win. It's what they had to lose first. Subscribe to Legacy Wedges for more content like this. The journeys, the numbers, and the forces beneath the leaderboard that actually shape the game you love.